So in this review, I'm taking a look at an affordable foldable e-bike. A lot of the ones that I've been covering recently have been priced well over €1,000 or over £1,000. But this model is about affordability. It's from iScooter. The model is called the E3. And with the E3, priced at about around £450, we get a 250 watt rear hub motor. It comes with a throttle. The 7.6 amp hour battery can get us around about 35 miles in range, and that's translated to about 53 kilometers of range there. And you can fold it in half to make this very small and compact to fit in, say, the boot or trunk of a car. 16-inch wheels. The tires are from CST and 160 millimeter mechanical disc brakes with this particular model. First thing you notice with the U3 is when you get it, there's the frame, the finish, the components, and the overall build quality. Certainly fitting of its price category, being an affordable bike. This foldable bike, 16-inch wheels, is only around about just over £400. And with the components they have used in the finish of everything, you do notice this, especially compared to some of the more expensive bikes I have been covering recently. Padded seat, it's not a branded seat at all, but the padding on it is quite good. It feels good. The seat post, it has a quick release on it, so you can get it nice and high to cater to rider heights from 165 centimeters to, I would say, about 190 centimeters. If you're taller than that, you're probably going to find the frame a little bit too small. So it is a sprung seat. So you can see the springs right there. That adds to the comfort. You do feel it when you're riding along. It bobs up and down a little bit. And of course, we do have the shock at the front. Now, this is certainly better than nothing, but travel-wise, not a lot. 30 millimeters, 35 millimeters max. But it does soak up some of those little bumps to help out because, after all, they're only small wheels. So 160 millimeter cable pull disc brakes, no brand on these at all, no brand on the shock either. Comes with the mud guards. The pedals are the foldable type, which I'm not a huge fan of. You may have heard me mention this in other foldable e-bike reviews because they sometimes, some of the ones I've tested out have broken in the past on me, and I almost had a very bad accident. And the rear, of course, the same 160 millimeter cable pull disc brake. Now, it's got a tiny little kickstand. Again, this comes with it, and it works well. It supports the weight of this bike, no problem. Side reflectors there. Up the front, we get a headlight. Now, it's one that I've seen on other e-bikes, and it does the job, lights the path up ahead of me, reflector just below it. Now, you turn it on by pressing and holding the down pedal assist level button for about 3 seconds. Rear tail light is not hardwired like the front headlight. Now, this has 5 LEDs at the top of it. You can't really see it during daytime, nor would I expect it to be really that visible, but at night it is, and it does have a rear reflector. Pretty standard here, and it's not a known brand one, but it does the job. Our chain is from KMC, so that's the second brand component. The rear motor, 250 watts, 36 volt system, and it'll get us up to 25 kilometers per hour, range of around about 55 to 60 kilometers, if you are pedaling, that is. The U3 does have a handle in the middle, so it makes it a little bit easier to lift it up. The welds on the frame look all right, but you do notice that the overall quality is more affordable, the category that it is in, especially with the latch here too, the materials used. Now, there's this little tiny security there. It is plastic. That just keeps it in place to stop it from unlatching when you're riding. Not that that would happen, but it is there, which is good. And the latch, it is quite firm too, so to release it, you need to pull on it, which is a little difficult to do, and then you can fold the bike in half now. As you'd expect, there is some reinforcing around here, and it does sit flush, and I haven't felt any flex on this, and I have jumped down some curbs and things. So the hinge does seem to check out. At the price it sells for, I did not expect it to have a torque sensor, and it doesn't. It just uses a speed sensor here. The handlebar, it does have a quick release on it, so you're able to adjust the height. I can drop it down really low if you had maybe a child riding this or someone that was quite short. And then, whoop, that's over the maximum there. About there is the maximum height that you can set it. And that makes the bike, the frame when you're riding, just a little bit more comfortable and you're more upright in. So it doesn't feel like you're riding a clown bike then, you know, those ones with the really tiny wheels. So I'll show you how quick and easy it is to fold it. You need to unlatch it right here. Then the handlebar, if you want, you can drop it right down just to make it a little bit smaller, then pull on the latch here. You've got to lift up the security on it first, push it forward. It's a little tight, but I prefer it that way. So that drops down into one side. The bike, then you fold in half like so, and you can then proceed to drop the seat down even further, and that makes it very small and compact, so you can fit it into the trunk or boot of a car. It is a little on the heavy side for a 16-inch bike because this is about 23 kilos. So it's not the lightest that I've tested. So there was two things I was concerned about when riding this bike first. When I looked at it, I thought the frame size, oh dear, you know, I'm not super tall or anything like that. I'm 179 centimeters, but I thought this is going to be too small for me, right? 16-inch size wheels. However, there are two things that save it. That is that the seat height can be raised up quite a bit, and so can the handlebars. And it rides a lot better than it looks, thankfully, which is really what saves it for me with the riding experience. So we have our press down throttle. If you're in a pedal assist level, one of those three there, then it'll work. If you're not in any pedal assist level, the throttle will do absolutely nothing. So pressing down on it, I can then get up to 25 kilometers per hour without doing anything. And a lot of people will probably end up using just the throttle and ride this like a moped, and then your range isn't going to be as good. So your range will be about half of what you can get when you are pedaling. Now, speaking of pedaling, it has a speed sensor, so it's not a torque sensor. When I start to pedal, the power delivery is smooth, so that is good. It doesn't just jolt you. It's not a powerful motor, so it wouldn't really be able to do that, I don't think, anyway. And it cuts out at about 25 kilometers per hour, but I have no information, no display about speed. Now, trying to get really fast on this top speed pedaling on the flat, this is where this bike is best. Flat A to B kind of destinations that are all in the city, so city commutes. And I'll try and pedal now as fast as I can to get up to 25 kilometers per hour. And my legs are just going like crazy now. So I've reached the max speed out of the single gear that it has. So the gearing isn't wonderful. The gearing's designed for just 25, 24 kilometers per hour. That is it. Because, I mean, look at my legs now. I have to pedal like crazy just to get up and to try and go over 25 kilometers per hour. Well, it's not going to be happening with the U3. You'll be stuck really at that speed. And what is the bike like at climbing if you've got no battery? So turned it off, the motor, and I'm going up a slight slope here. Reasonably difficult. I wouldn't call this easy because we have no gears, remember, just a single speed. Oh, that's an interesting looking car, that one. Oh, little beach buggy thing. That looked cool. So climb test time. My typical spot that I use with all my e-bike reviews and e-scooters, put it into the high pedal assist level, and let's see how it does handle this. So far, so good. In fact, this is better than I thought. I would estimate, because I don't have a readout here on the screen, about 15 down to around about 13 kilometers per hour climb. Now I'm probably putting in about 40-50% effort. The bike is doing the rest. So this is good. Climbs better than I thought, considering it's only single speed, no gears. Then of course, brake test. So from that white post, full emergency brake with 160mm mechanical disc brakes. And all right, not too bad. I locked up the rear quite a bit. I did my own kind of ABS style braking. So that means average performance. If it was before this post, that would be better than most, but not bad. The brakes are all right. It's a smaller bike and stopping has not been an issue. Very quick test of the front shock. So it has 30mm of travel. I can hear it sometimes making a bit of a clanking noise, but it is helping because it's very bumpy along here. And don't forget that the seat post, as I showed you, is sprung. So it's got those springs in it, and you feel it moving up and down a tiny little bit. It's quite spongy. So this is more comfortable than it looks and what I was expecting for such a bumpy, all over the place paved road here. So the range of the bike is a little hard for me to gauge because there's no trip meter on this, and I have ridden the ride that I know in the distance that I've covered, and I'm down to now the 3 bars or 2 bars left. I've covered 18 kilometers. So ideally, I'm looking at about 40. That's all I think I can squeeze out of this. Probably a little bit under that, out of that 7.6 amp hour battery that we have. Now their range is, they say it's about 57, so it's a little shy of that. That was with me pedaling using the high pedal assist level. Now with this style of bike, you're probably using it more as a moped because you just press down on that throttle, and pedaling, as I discovered, you start to ghost pedal about 25 kilometers over that. Your legs are spinning really too fast that you cannot keep up, and you can't really add any more velocity to the bike, which is a minor annoyance there. The good things about the bike are its price. So it is priced as an affordable foldable 16-inch e-bike. It is compact, so you can fit it into smaller places than, say, a 20-inch foldable or one of those fat wheel foldable bikes, which do take up a lot of room. The other is that it's not actually that bad, the ride of it. It's comfortable enough. The seat there, you can get it quite high. I can get it even higher than I have it here at the moment. The handlebar goes up quite high. The downsides are, straight away you notice that the build quality at this price point, that it is a little bit cheaper with some of the components they have used. The finish of some things, it's not super high end there. And that makes sense because of the price point they're trying to sell this for too as well. So there we go. That is the iScooter E3 16-inch foldable e-bike. Thanks a lot for watching this review.